America is the sickest developed country in the entire world, and it's not by accident. RFK Jr. just shared some jaw-dropping health stats that you need to hear. We're talking about exploding cancer rates, plummeting sperm counts, skyrocketing autism, and 74% of our kids being too unhealthy to even join the military. This is far bigger than politics. This is about our future and our survival.
When my uncle was president, 3% of Americans had chronic disease. We spent zero on chronic disease in this country, zero. There was no medications for it.
Today, I'm reacting to RFK Jr.'s recent speech, talking about the truth behind these numbers, and asking the hard questions that we need to talk about. Whether you love him or hate him, RFK Jr. is saying what most politicians won't. Today, America is in a full-blown health crisis. When JFK was president 60 years ago, 3% of Americans had chronic disease. Today, it's over 60%. Boys today are producing 50% less testosterone. Girls are hitting puberty earlier than ever. The autism rates have gone from 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 36. And some estimates say that up to 50% of people will get cancer in their lifetimes. This isn't just bad luck. It's a symptom of something far deeper. A broken food system, massive environmental toxins and exposures, pharmaceutical dependence, and a complete collapse of real preventative healthcare. In this video, I'm reacting to RFK Jr.'s recent speech he gave in West Virginia from the Make America Healthy Again movement. I'm going to comment on what he got right, what we need to question deeper, and most importantly, what you and your family can do about it. Buckle up, because this is about to get real. Let's start light. You know, the easiest topics. Let's talk about that whole 2020 virus pandemic thing. Listen to what RFK Jr. has to say about this.
During COVID, we had 16% of the COVID deaths in this country. We only have 4.2% of the world's population. So we literally did worse than any country in the world. And when you ask CDC why are Americans dying from COVID at higher rates than any place on earth when we have all the money, they said, well, it's not our fault. It's because Americans are so sick. That is their fault.
The average American who died had 3 chronic diseases. They were typically obese, with cardiovascular issues, metabolic issues, high blood sugar. All of this crushes the immune system. So obviously we need to get healthy. And we were told to do the exact opposite, to stay inside, not get that sunshine for vitamin D, get stressed out, be afraid of everyone. We weren't talked to about nutrition or vitamin D status. And what really shocks me about this, looking in the rearview mirror, is some of the solutions for actually saving lives are shockingly simple. Look at this study right here. This study is entitled C19 Mortality Risk Correlates Inversely with Vitamin D3 Status. And a mortality rate close to 0 could theoretically be achieved at 50 nanograms per milliliter of vitamin D3. This is results from a meta-analysis. And what this basically shows is that we got everyone's vitamin D3 status up through simple supplementation, through time outside. We could have completely changed the trajectory of this whole incident, and we could have actually focused on preventative health. Instead, we were pushed to do a whole bunch of pharmaceutical external solutions when we should have been looking at the basics and core tenets of human health. I talk about this all the time. All of your white blood cells have vitamin D3 receptors, they have melatonin receptors. So don't you think we should be in contact with the sun? Don't you think we should be regulating our circadian rhythm well and prioritizing sleep? Don't you think we should be eating vitamin D3 rich foods? This needs to come to the forefront of our medical discussion, not more external medications. Let's talk about the financial impact this is actually having on our country right now.
Today, we spend $1.3 trillion on chronic disease every year. It's about 90% of our healthcare budget. And you know, for most of my life, the Republicans and Democrats have been fighting about a healthcare plan, about treatment, really a sick care plan. Nobody has been focused on how do we get ourselves less sick. And it's like moving deck chairs around on the Titanic. No matter what you do, our country is going to go bankrupt.
I genuinely love this country. This past weekend, I spent time with one of my friends, Rahul, who's an immigrant from India. He's an epitome of the American dream. He came here with his parents through India. He worked hard. They started a restaurant, and Rahul now raised money, and he's starting his own business in his 20s. The values that this country stands on, upon free speech, the fact that you can make something of yourself if you work hard and you connect. I believe the core of this country is great, and we have a chance to really lean into that and allow these values to shape the future. But what I have seen happen is that greed has completely corrupted the fabric of our social culture right now. It's the major corporations that are controlling the food companies, are controlling tobacco, are controlling alcohol, that have corrupted our culture. It's eroding us right now, and we're paying a massive price financially with our tax dollars, but it's also affecting our kids. Listen to what RFK Jr. has to talk about when it comes to the metabolic health of our kids and the massive impact that's going to have on our future.
You know, when I was a kid, diabetes rates in children were almost zero. Juvenile diabetes, a typical pediatrician would see one case of diabetes in his lifetime over a 40 or 50-year career. Today, 1 out of every 3 kids who walks through his office door is pre-diabetic or diabetic. 38% of teens are now diabetic, 50% of adults.
It's honestly heartbreaking how unhealthy our kids are today. Like when I go to a restaurant with my daughter and I look at the kids menu, it is French fries, pizza, chicken nuggets, grilled cheese. And sometimes they have like the healthy option, which is like the chicken breast or the salmon with some vegetables. Like it's there, but it's become so normalized for our kids to eat crap, ultra processed food. And if there's anything good that the Make America Healthy Again movement can do, it is to upgrade the lunch system in our schools, like divert our money there to help our kids at least have healthier foods for the meals when they're, at school if they're going to public schools. And us as parents, I think we need to take this so much more seriously, which first means getting ourselves healthy. Hence why I spend so much time investing in Fit Father and Fit Mother and leading this movement, because our kids are not making their food decisions, they're inheriting ours. And so if we're serving unhealthy foods, if we are not healthy ourselves, we're transmitting that culture and that norm to them. And then when they see all their friends unhealthy, it just becomes normal to be overweight. And I just want to emphasize this. The impact of having dysregulated blood sugar, of having excess weight and fat early in childhood is massive. It's causing immune system dysfunction that will lead to a rise of autoimmune conditions, of cancers. It's actually going to impact their cognitive development. Your kids are going to become less sharp and not as vibrant and healthy and powerful as they could be if they have high blood sugar floating around that's neurotoxic, let alone the mental and emotional standpoint of their confidence because they don't feel good in their own skin. This is massively important because our kids are truly the future. That's why I'm so passionate about this topic. And listen to this.
20 years ago, there was no diabetes in China. Today, 50% of the population is diabetic. Why is that? They built 20,000 fast food joints in China and started selling American processed food.
Yikes, right? We're exporting our American culture to other places and they're experiencing the same results we are. I think it's hilarious. Like when I grew up, I would get all this advertising for McDonald's and the Golden Arches. I was so excited to go in there and get the toys and play McDonald's Monopoly. Like, what BS was that? We were all bought into this whole fast food concept and dream, and it was actually poisoning us and making ultra-processed food the norm, and it's absolutely destroying our health. And I really want to emphasize in this next clip I'm going to show you that this goes far deeper than just obesity or even diabetes. This is literally affecting the fertility of us as humans. Like when we have fertility issues, it's because the body is not healthy from a genetics and a mitochondria standpoint to actually propagate. Like this is as foundational as it gets. When humans lose their fertility, we are basically like dying and we are dysfunctional to the core. And listen to what RFK Jr. has to share about this, the fertility issue happening to kids today.
We're seeing an explosion in cancers in this country. We're seeing an explosion in infertility. Teenagers today have 50% of the sperm count and 50% of the testosterone of 68-year-old men. Girls are now reaching puberty 6 years earlier than they're supposed to, between 10 and 13 years old. Other countries are not experiencing this.
Look, this is one of those areas where we need to expand our conversation about health and making America healthy again beyond just food and exercise. The environmental chemicals and pollutants are destroying our hormone levels. The term that we use in the medical literature is EDCs, endocrine disrupting chemicals. And a lot of these are plastics like the BPA, which many people are familiar with, phthalates and stuff like this. It's in cosmetics, but also just stuff that we heat treat things with, flame retardants, all the pollution that comes from the air and the off burning of factories and cars and all this stuff. There is a group called the Environmental Working Group, and they've done some studies, and this was probably around 15 years ago, where they took samples of newborn umbilical cords, and they found over 280 different chemicals in that umbilical cord. These chemicals came from mom's body because she was exposed to this in all these different ways. We are living in a toxic soup, and it's absolutely affecting our hormonal glands. It's one of the reasons that cancer is absolutely skyrocketing. It's one of the reasons that kids are struggling so much. We are being bombarded with toxic crap, and we need to take control of our inputs, which means starting at home, eating natural foods, getting good clean water into your house. And guess what actually helps your body detoxify, which it can do naturally? Sweating, eating fruits and vegetables for that fiber that binds things up, giving your body the micronutrients that allows your liver to go through natural detoxification process, getting into the sunshine for that healthy infrared that helps your body actually detox naturally. We return and get closer to nature. We move away from all the man-made BS that we've introduced into our culture. We will begin to heal. That is the promise, and the bottom line here is our bodies have the natural intelligence, and we're actually just hanging on despite all this crazy stuff that's in the environment. We can heal when we begin to clean up the inputs. Now listen to this next clip.
We've seen autism rates go from 1 in 10,000 when I was a kid, 1 in 10,000, 1 in every 36 kids today, 1 in 22 boys in California.
Autism is a multifactorial neurologic development issue. I'm not here to say that it's vaccines that are strictly causing autism. I think it's multifactorial. It's the endocrine disrupting chemicals. It's mothers who are stressed. It's all the toxins that are in their bodies. And some kids do get vaccine injured as well. And if we're seeing this stark of an increase from 1 in 10,000 all the way up to 1 in 36 or 1 in 22, something is seriously wrong. Serious developmental issues, and it's because all these toxins are in our environment. So the Make America Healthy Again movement also needs to focus on getting us healthier during this pregnancy time and protecting our kids. These nutrient deficient diets that don't have enough omega-3s and too many inflammatory foods in the diet can cause neurologic issues. It's massive. This stuff is like affecting us in what it means to be human to a core. And I'm so passionate about this, having a young daughter. I'll say you this, I've taken everything that I know and I've learned about health and I applied it to my daughter, Brooke. She got an amazing pregnancy through Paige, and she's been raised on healthy food. She gets her sunshine, she gets her water, and she is thriving. She is smart and happy and vibrant. This is our birthright. We can be healthy when we get the right inputs. And if someone in your family is struggling with ADHD, autism, neurologic issues, I'm also here to tell you there is a lot of hope. These things can be significantly improved, if not reversed, when you get deep into great nutrition, detoxification, using certain supplements to get toxins out of the body, and getting back to natural living. Our human bodies are super robust. And yes, damage can happen, and sometimes there's echoes of permanent damage, but the stuff that the body can heal and regenerate is massive. We have the capacity to heal when we get the right inputs. Now, to close this video out, I want to talk a little bit more about the geopolitical space, and I think some of the big issues about why this is happening from a greed and corporate perspective too. The speech that I've been showing you is from RFK Jr.'s address to West Virginia, who just announced that they're banning a lot of food dyes. Food dyes are a good example of completely unnecessary things that were developed to get foods to look better and make them ultra processed so that we're going to eat more foods. And these food companies are sweating a little bit with the big influence here coming in of RFK Jr. saying we got to shake some things up. Listen to what he has to say about the ties between big tobacco and big food and how that's interfacing with our political system.
And for these legislatures who are pushing this bill, all of them are getting calls every day from the big soda companies the sugar soda and the fake food companies. We're not eating food, we're eating food-like substances. And I'll tell you what happened. I was involved in the tobacco litigation back in the late 1980s. And the tobacco companies were, at that time, the cash richest companies in the world. But they saw the writing on the wall. They saw that the consumer base was turning against them. People were stopping smoking, and that they were being prosecuted and sued successfully. So they settled those lawsuits, but they also started shifting their resources to diversify their companies. And they went out and they bought the food companies. So by 1994, the two biggest food companies in the world were R.J. Reynolds and Philip Morris, tobacco companies. They took about 10,000 scientists who were all engaged in nefarious ways to make tobacco more addictive, and they put them to work making food addictive, inventing ingredients in the laboratory that would make it do things to food. For example, they found out that food that you fill up, your brain tells you your stomach is filled, in part by counting the number of times you chew. So they started adding softeners to our food so that you wouldn't chew so much. So you'd have a sense that you're unsatisfied, you're insatiable, you're never full, so that you keep pouring it down your mouth. And that's just one of the many things they did. They added sodium and sugar. Sugar is as addictive as crack, and it's almost as bad for you. It kills you just as surely, it just kills you a little slower. It feeds tumors, it destroys your body, it destroys your brain. And they added more and more sugar to make us addicted to their products. And these companies are now, just like the tobacco companies were, are flooding into the offices of your state leaders and legislatures of the governor. And they're telling him he's making a big mistake. They're telling him that they're going to stop writing checks, that they're going to run people against them, that they're going to destroy their political careers.
This story of why Americans got so unhealthy over the last 60 years is deep. And it's as tied to money, greed, and power as anything else. And when I think about the Make America Healthy Again movement, I don't think that RFK Jr. or anybody in the White House or government organization is going to save us. I do hope there is continued awareness and pressure from the top through legislation that gets healthier foods into the school systems, that raises more awareness for how we can get environmental toxins out of our system. But I really feel this is a bottom-up movement. Us as parents, as adults who can have the awareness and hopefully some resources to make changes to our small sphere of influence, to share this video with other people, to start buying more natural foods, to start to unplug from the high stress, unhealthy social media culture, to get outside more, to spread more love and goodness. We are doing the work by embodying the change that we want to see in the world. And here's what I also know, that these big companies driven by greed, they will begin to transform when we stop buying their shit. These companies move in response to consumer demand. And if you watch this video and you share it with other people and we stop buying as much processed food, those companies, their bottom lines are going to hurt. Their big manufacturing chains, all the money that they invest to keep the operation running, that's going to become an expense on their balance sheets. They're going to need to shift and pivot. And if we have consumer demand and awareness go to healthier inputs, then they're going to have to follow, because that's where the money is, and they're always following the money. So let's vote with our dollars. And I also suggest that we get away from big corporate and we get back to local. Start to go to your local's farmer's market. Buy eggs and vegetables and fruits from your local farmer. Support people closer to home, not these mega corporations that are really driven by greed with big boards and profits in mind, not your overall health. Let's get it local. Let's get it closer. Let's get it natural. That's what's going to save our country. And I hope you can see and feel my passion in this, and I thank you truly for watching this video. If this did inspire you, please hit the like button, and it really does help me in the channel. It spreads this work to more people on YouTube. It means the world to me. I am on a mission to do everything in my power to embody health, to share practical health wisdom, and to help make America and the world healthy again through education and inspiration. So you supporting my work by subscribing to the channel, hitting the like, and sharing this video with at least one person that you love, it means the world to me and actually can have an impact. Because if we look at network effects, and this is how nature works, we're all so connected, more connected than we even realize. And if we just do a little bit of a sharing, the exponential math there is massive. You share this with one or two people, they share it with one or two people, and now we have this exponential effect. It can reach tens of thousands, maybe even millions of people, and all change starts with awareness. And inspiration to breathe new life into happens when we have these types of conversations more openly and we share it with people. For me, this goes beyond politics. This is just about what it means to be human, what it means to be healthy, and the kind of future I want for me and my family and your family. This is Dr. Anthony Balduzzi signing off. Thank you for watching my video today. Please share it, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in future videos, and I'll talk to you very soon.